Glorious versus Yanzelot. It's a best of 5, which means first of 3, obviously. And let's see exactly who brings who to the party.
Here we are, guys. Match number 3, Glorious versus Yanzelot. Amasha and an Oliver get the pre-ban very quickly there.
I'm really looking forward to this party that's about to start, Killer. Unfortunately, there's 2 units that enable some really damage-heavy drafts have already been pre-banned. I wonder if these 2 players will actually continue going down that route. I think they are. Look at what they've picked.
Yanzelot flashing that more, aka Water Ryu, as his first unit and locks it in. Glorious goes very quickly with the Shan and the Changpang as the first and second unit.
Yes, I think this is going to be a very fast match indeed. Both players bringing out those AoE control units. Glorious has 2 of them. Yanzelot has chosen to bring his strippers to begin with. So Glorious, he still has access to the wounds though, which Yanzelot doesn't have anyway. So it doesn't matter that Glorious has waited to pick that one up.
Yanzelot bringing up that Juno and Chi-Tang Deshang as his second and third unit, locking in that Cigar and Dark Art Master as his final unit, takes it up, brings out the Escher. Glorious goes with the Shizuka and the Wunsa as his fourth pick.
Yeah, both players picking out very quickly. Yanzelot almost picking up the Mookwall there, the Dark Outmaster. Switching to the Escher, which I think is a better pick because Yanzelot already has 2 AoE strippers on the field. Escher is going to bring that speed buff to help him take those extra turns. Cigar is a pretty good pick in order to reset that Shizuka.
There we go, Glorious picking up that Douglas as his final unit. Will it see a ban?
I feel like the Douglas might see a ban because I think only the Maul really counters the Douglas, but I don't know if Glorious is actually going to ban out the Maul or not. There's a little bit of mind games involved right now. Glorious though, he is probably going to take that first turn unless he bans out the Escher.
There we go, the Douglas and the Maul get the bans. The leader skills will be locked in. Shizuka for Glorious's side and Chi-Tang Deshang with 41% resistant leader skill locked in. Here we go, guys. Main course number 3, Glorious versus Yanzelot. Who takes that first turn? That Wumsa takes the first turn, goes for the strip and gets the strip. Escher cuts in with that attack bar boost. Oh my god, Changpang, serious matter. Cuts in as well. Here we go. Shan with the stun. Lands it on 3 out of 4 units.
Wow, what an exciting match so far, Killer. Both players having very, very fast units in the Wunsa and Escher. Wunsa having slightly superior base speed and therefore taking the first turn. And now we're about to see just how much damage this Shan has. The answer? A lot.
We saw that Squall deleting a unit. Gonski is out of this match very quickly from the beginning of the match. Here we go. Shizuka, all things in nature, landing all those debuffs on Yanzelot's side. Shizuka gets another turn, lands the damage onto that Juno. It's a skill 1 onto that Juno. He's working on reducing that Juno's HP, but will she take a turn and heal? Additional turn for the Changpang.
You know what? The fact that Escher has the skill 1 heal block is really working in Glorious's favor because all things in nature is able to put that heal block on Escher. He has chosen to go for the Chi-Tang Deshang first, of course, because Chi-Tang Deshang has not used his skill 3 yet. But Juno is going to get to heal up the Chi-Tang Deshang.
There we go, Juno turning all those buffs into debuffs, landing all those doors. Chi-Tang Deshang do what Chi-Tang Deshang does. AoE sleep. Oh, here we go, Juno with the skill 1 onto that Wunsa. Escher getting that heal. Chi-Tang Deshang, skill 1 onto Wunsa, failing to stun it. Serious matter. Changpang proccing out and going, for serious matter.
Wow, Glorious has very little damage left on the field. Chi-Tang Deshang bringing that slow and attack bar reduction along with Escher's speed buff means that Yanzelot is taking so many turns already this match. This Chi-Tang Deshang is doing a huge amount of work for Yanzelot. And it looks like the Juno, I was going to say that actually the Juno is still on the field anyway, and the Glorious's units that he has, we're going to struggle to take down that Juno, even if he'd managed to take out the Chi-Tang Deshang. That's not going to matter anyway, and Yanzelot is going to wrap up this win.
Yanzelot takes that first set out of a best out of 5 match. Yanzelot 1-0 over Glorious.
Yeah, absolutely right. Yanzelot is in the lead right now, but still, they're up to 4 games left to play here. It's a best of 5, of course. You guys talk about AoE a lot as well, that area of effect. I mean, how integral are those attacks into anyone's repertoire here, Baust? Why are they so important?
Yeah, of course. So AoE means you're actually hitting multiple units with one skill. And even though the meta at the moment has a lot of units that are really strong and single target damage, there are a lot of AoE units that are highly effective. And both players have light units, the Cheetah and the Shang and the Shan, that both do AoE skills that are highly effective. In the end, today it was the Cheetah and the Shang that caused the problem for Glorious. I do wonder actually if he'll want to perhaps potentially bring up a Sekhmet, which could reset the Cheetah and the Shang, or if he's just going to pre-ban that one, because AoE requires a bit more setup. That's why, you know, it's not so meta. You need to bring those strippers in order to use those skills, but both players actually have really nice strippers as well, like that Wunsa.
Absolutely, the Wunsa proving it's dangerous, very dangerous. Next up, we have the second game in this best of 5, and we're going to find out whether or not JANZELOT can continue his dominance here, going through. Could it be a 3-0 at the other 2 matches? We'll have to wait and see here. But we'll find out if Glorious can come back over to Pick and Bans and Baus and Killer.
Here we go, guys. Match 3, set number 2. Pre-bans are in. The Oliver gets the ban again. Cheetang Deshang gets the pre-ban.
No Cheetang Deshang this time, but Glorious is going to have access to Deshan again. Just thinking back to that last match, I wonder if it was decided in the ban phase when JANZELOT banned out that Douglas and Glorious banned out the Moor. He didn't have to ban out the Moor because JANZELOT was banning the Douglas anyway. He could have banned out the Cheetah and the Shang. Things could be very different.
Glorious picking up first pick. Masha locked in. JANZELOT goes with the Moor, aka Water Riot, and the Carnal.
Oh, that is a Carnal unit we don't see very often. The most recent player that picked out the Carnal was Vilipity. It did not work out well for him at all. At the same time, JANZELOT does actually pair that with the speed lead in the Moor. So that is really interesting. I wonder if that means that JANZELOT is thinking about picking up a Ragdoll because Carnal Ragdoll is a common combo, or if it's just not a unit that he wants to bring out because Glorious has the Tenlang at his disposal.
Glorious picking up that Shan and the Shizuka. JANZELOT are picking up the Cigar and the Escher for his 3rd and 4th unit.
I'm really liking JANZELOT's draft so far. He's bringing that Escher to help him make sure he takes the first turn. Even if Glorious picks up that Wunsa as he does, he has the Wateroo, the Moor that can cut in between potentially. Of course, the Cigar, an excellent underrated unit that I believe JANZELOT has really nice runes on to reset that Shan before Shan moves.
Is this a first time we've seen a Sierra in SWC EU prelims? Glorious picking up that Wunsa and the Sierra as his final pick. JANZELOT responding with the Juno.
I feel like if JANZELOT bans out the Wunsa, then that he is in a really good position because Glorious is really lacking in strippers right now. JANZELOT has plenty of them, can really control Glorious in this match.
As predicted, Wunsa gets the ban. The Moor gets the ban. We got the speed lead. And the, I believe it was the HP lead on JANZELOT's side picked. Escher takes first turn. Juno follows up, goes for the strip, manages to strip one of the unit, which is the Shan. Cigar follows up, provokes the Shizuka. The Shan stuns the Shan. Masha misses a turn due to a stun. JANZELOT, doing some serious work right now into Glorious's team.
Honestly, I'm not sure how Glorious is going to come back from this. As I predicted, JANZELOT brought out that first turn with Escher, the strip, the speed buff from Escher, the slow debuff from Carnal, and he's just taking so many turns. Of course, Cigar complementing his draft very, very nicely indeed. I feel like Glorious's pick of the Ciara was an issue because if he'd picked a stripper or something else that enabled him to take first turn, or maybe even a unit that counters JANZELOT's draft really hard, like a Douglas. In fact, Douglas would have been an excellent forced ban instead of the Ciara.
There we go. We see Masha putting in some damage into that Juno, failing to kill her. Shan goes for the stun, lands the stun on all 4 units. Shizuka about to take a turn. Will she revive her unit or will she... Yep, revives the Sierra. Sierra with the bomb. Goes on to the Carnal. Sierra's out of this match. Masha takes out the Juno. Shan with the Squall. Where will he direct his damage? He goes into Cigar, almost taking that Cigar out, gets an additional turn. Wow, that's huge plays right there.
Well, that was a huge comeback from Glorious. Oh my goodness. You know what? Never say never when Masha and Shan are still on the field because they are so impactful. Masha brings, well, both of these units bring so much damage and the ability to come back, as you have seen. JANZELOT had the control, he had the turn, but he had nowhere near the amount of damage as that Glorious is able to bring. He wasn't able to take out Glorious's units in the time that he had available, and unfortunately for JANZELOT, Glorious has made a huge comeback from a tough position. Well done to Glorious.
Yeah, superb work there. We didn't think it was going to happen, but Glorious. I think the key factor there, Killer, had to be sending all of JANZELOT's units to sleep. All the monsters couldn't take a turn ultimately, and Glorious capitalized on that.
Yeah, that's Shan doing the AoE stun and then getting an additional turn later and putting that cigar down to basically 1 HP, which was going to kill him to the dot, was the game changer. I'm not sure what I even witnessed there because JANZELOT looked in a very favorable position, and then in blink of an eye, it was the other way around. Well done with the comeback. It is 1-1 between the two players.
Yeah, I think, as well, Glorious there, obviously a guildie of yours, Baust. But I think, interestingly, the fact that, as Killer said, we thought it was going to go in one direction. And here at EU Prelims, at this point, anything is possible because all these players are so talented. And, looking forward to this next matchup now, it's 1-1. It could go all the way to 3-2 at this point.
Well, that's it, Adam. This meta is all about these units like Masha that can take a game back from a really tough-looking position. That's what makes this meta so exciting. You can get these huge comebacks going one way and the other because there's so many units that do so much damage.
Absolutely huge. It's pick and ban time. It's the third set in this best of 5. And one of these players will be in the lead in a good position after this one.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is not even close to being over because it is a best out of 5s. The pre-bans are in. It is 1-1 Glorious versus JANZELOT. Shizuka and the Juno get the pre-ban.
This is looking like a very juicy encounter indeed. Already confirmed as not a clean sweep anymore. It's definitely going to go back and forth. I'm looking forward to some more Shan gameplay from Glorious because JANZELOT refuses to pre-ban the Shan.
JANZELOT gets the Oliver first pick, locks it in. Glorious picking up that Masha very, very quickly, but yet to decide on his second unit.
Well, he just pick up the Shan. He doesn't have access to the Shizuka anymore, unfortunately, because JANZELOT has pre-banned it. But yes, indeed, I don't know why JANZELOT doesn't just pre-ban those light dark units, which Glorious relies so heavily on the Shan and the Woundstone.
JANZELOT picking up another speed lead for Arena Moore and that Chi Tank Disheng as his third unit. Glorious picking up that Wunsa that we've seen in every single match. And what will his fourth unit be?
Interestingly, Glorious has pre-banned the Juno from JANZELOT because JANZELOT likes to use the Juno, but it means that he can't actually pick up that Juno as a Chi-Tank Disheng counter. Instead, he goes for his usual stuff. I don't think Glorious likes Sekhmet very much because Sekhmet would be a good pick against JANZELOT right now. But we have seen her not really deliver too many times so far today, so that might be why.
Here we go, Glorious picking up that Changpang for his fourth unit. JANZELOT with the Kano and the Moonhawk, was it?
It is the Mukwo. Yep, the Mukwo, the Dark Art Master. We're finally going to get to see him in action. He is an AoE stripper that also brings that interesting debuff. No, we're not going to get to see him.
There we go. Both Art Masters get the band, the Hey Gang and the Moonwalk.
The
Mukwo. JANZELOT with the speed lead. Glorious with the Wunsa lead. Here we go. We're looking to get the advantage point. Who will it be out of these two players? Will it? Ooh, Wunsa first turn again with the speed lead.
Of course, Wunsa's base speed is just incredible. But Moore does cut and can make some impact.
There we go. Masha with the fast link. Where will the damage be directed? Will it be the Chi-Tank Disheng or will it be the Kano or Oliver? He goes into the Kano, fails to land the defense break. That could be crucial. Wunsa follows up after that Masha on Glorious's side.
Yeah, it is quite unfortunate for Glorious that the Shan got stunned and the Masha missed the defense break. JANZELOT is probably looking quite threatening because the Chi-Tank Disheng has his skills, the Kano still has his skills as well, and the Oliver also has things.
Here we go, Oliver with the impulse gun into that Masha, right with the skill 1 going into Masha, dealing some damage to her. Masha skill 1 goes into the Carnal, lands the slow on the Carnal. Chi-Tang Deshang doing Chi-Tang Deshang things. Oh, actually no, he only stunned the Shan. Mega Impulse Gun onto Wunsa, pushing back the attack bar. Impulse Gun into Changpang, failing to push back the attack bar. Carnal with the slows.
Well, you know what, Killer? The huge difference between this match and the previous one is that JANZELOT has been able to control the Shan, because Shan was super impactful in the previous match, and this time round he's not been able to have a chance to use his skill free to stun the enemy and give his team the attack buff, which of course synergizes really nicely with Masha. But if he gets a violent proc, things could still be very different.
There we go, more with that rolling spike, dismounting Masha, and then later on hitting some damage into that Shan. Wunsa with skill 1, failing to sleep that Chi-Tang Deshang. Ooh, Masha with the skill 1. We know that skill 1 can do a lot of damage. Goes into Chi-Tang Deshang. Oh, fails to take him out. Shan is out of this match. More with the skill 1, attack break lands on the Masha.
I feel like Glorious has not had too much luck in this match. There were times in which if Glorious got an additional turn, if he got proc, then things could change a lot. But I don't think this dismounted Masha is going to turn the tide.
Whoa, Chi-Tang Deshang putting everyone to sleep. More with that rolling spike, dealing some serious damage. Not looking too favorable for Glorious right now. Chi-Tang Deshang. Oh, I thought he took out the Wunsa. Carnal taking out that Wunsa. JANZELOT 2-1. Still not over between these two players yet, because it is a best out of 5.
Yes, right. Advantage JANZELOT here going into the very, potentially last match if JANZELOT can pull this one off here. But Glorious, I just feel that Glorious Bao still has fight back in here, and this, I feel this could go the distance. When calling it, I think it could happen.
It could definitely happen. That match was a very close match indeed, decided by the finest of margins. Shan getting stunned a couple of times by the Maw, especially at the start, made a huge difference. If the Maw hadn't stunned the Shan, I think Glorious would have actually taken the match. So it is the finest of margins. These two players are very similar drafts, very all or nothing aggressive drafts that can be decided really early on. So it'll be interesting to see if we see a similar thing, but perhaps in the other direction, or if JANZELOT is going to take this final, well, this fourth set.
Well, I mean, do you think nerves? I mean, obviously these two players are desperate to get into the Euro Cup. Do you think there's any form at this point, Killer, of any nervous energy around them in terms of when it comes to the picking bans? Could they slip up, or do you think do you think most likely they're so focused? Chances are they'll go for broke and just lock down what they need to do without kind of second guessing their picks and their bans.
Honestly, I don't see any nerves from these two players, because they're sticking to their drafts, and these drafts aren't boring. They're all fast-played drafts, and if you were nervous, you'll be changing your draft, going a little bit of more support kind of team. But no, they're sticking to their guns. They're clashing, these two, and it's very interesting to watch.
Yeah, we love it. We love it. It's the clash of the titans here. Glorious versus JANZELOT. Who will come out on top? Can JANZELOT secure a place in the Europe Cup? Let's find out.
Here we go, guys. Set number 4, Glorious versus JANZELOT. Glorious picking up Masha for that first unit. JANZELOT with the Oliver and the Maw locked in for first and second unit.
Indeed, and also the pre-bans. Actually, this time round, the Shan and the Chi-Tang Deshang got pre-banned. The light dark, or rather the light units, finally actually being taken out of the match. We're going to see a very, very different match this time round.
Indeed, a slightly different draft. Glorious picking up the Changpang and Tiang Lang for second and third unit. JANZELOT going with the Juno and the Carnal for third and fourth unit. Glorious flashing that Molly for the fourth unit, possibly.
Well, something a little bit different coming round this time round. A Molly. I'm sure you'll be disappointed to see this, Killer, but I do think the Molly is a really good pick, because JANZELOT is quite low on damage. He has the AoE control, but he is going to struggle to get through that Molly if he doesn't ban that out.
There we go, Glorious with the Molly and the Annabelle for the fourth and fifth pick. JANZELOT bringing out that Cigar for his final unit. The bans?
I feel like a Cigar or Oliver would be a good ban for Glorious. For JANZELOT, anything could be a good ban. I personally probably would have banned out the Molly or the Annabelle rather than the Smasher.
The Masha and the Cigar get the ban. Glorious goes with the attack leader skill with the Changpang this time around. Here we go, guys. Match point for JANZELOT. Comeback for Glorious. Maw taking that first turn skill 1 into Annabelle attack break. Juno follows up, failing to strip that Changpang. Carnal follows up. Rain of Fire, landing the stun onto that Molly.
That was a crucial miss from yanzelot. He didn't manage just to strip the immunity off the Changpeng. Changpeng is going to get to do Serious Matter or his skill 2 into Serious Matter. And of course, this is Molly is just going to keep on moving and moving off. And Tianlang is going to bring the defense break. Defense break, Annabelle still on the field. I'm really liking the situation that Glorious is in so far.
There we go, lands that defense break on Oliver and gets his additional turn. Oliver not looking too healthy right now. There is no sustain on yanzelot's side. Tianlang taking another turn, dealing some serious damage into that Oliver. More with attack break on Annabelle. Annabelle has attack break.
Yep, Annabelle has attack break, but it doesn't matter too much because Molly has a cleanse herself. Annabelle also has the cleanse. They both have sustain. yanzelot is really low on sustain right now, apart from a little bit of Juno heal. I just can't see how yanzelot is going to be able to do enough damage to get through this Molly. I think he'll be ruined the fact that he didn't actually ban out that Molly.
There we go, Changpeng taking out that more right away with skill 1. Juno goes for the AoE, manages to stun the Annabelle, but does not matter because Annabelle procs out of stun, which was the only unit that was stunned. Tianlang, here we go. Some damage into Kano. Kano with a little low HP right now.
Yeah, indeed. And of course, this Annabelle was still there. All of Glorious's units looking quite healthy. And in the end, it was just not enough damage from yanzelot to do anything against the sustain that Glorious was bringing.
Yeah, yanzelot simply just didn't have the firepower there to respond to Glorious's attacks. And Glorious ties things up 2-2. So I called it, guys. 100% called it. It was me. I knew it was going to go to 3-2. Thank you. Yeah, Killer, you too. We're on the same bandwagon, the same page. I think, I mean, it was inevitable, really, wasn't it? I mean, both teams have so much firepower. They're so the players have got so much in their locker that they can bring to each of these matchups. And I think in this last match now, we're going to see exactly which player just has a slight advantage, Killer, who can go the distance here, because it's been a very evenly matched head-to-head.
I'm gonna go with Glorious.
Massive.
Yes.
Bouse, what's the vibe? What are you vibing?
Oh, I mean, I have to say Glorious because he's my guild leader, but I was also really impressed by the fact that he kind of pivoted into sustain. The fact that yanzelot probably wasn't expecting that Glorious had in that in his locker to do that pivot, and it made a huge difference. I'm thinking that Glorious might continue down that route because, like I said, yanzelot just does not have that much damage, and that Molly is really strong against yanzelot's draft.
Yeah, it really is. Guys, let us know in the chat who you think is going to go the distance here. yanzelot or Glorious? Type a J or a G in the chat. Let us know who you think is going to win as we head into the final game of this best of 5. Whoever wins this one goes to the Europe Cup.
Hey guys, this is match point for both players. Winner advances to Europe Cup. Pre-ban Zarin, we got the Shizuka and the Moore pre-ban. yanzelot with the first pick goes with the Masha, locks it in.
I'm sure that both players will be really feeling the nerves right now. This is the final match, both of their chances to go to the EU Cup in Berlin for the first ever time. Are they going to stick to their usual drafts, or are they going to mix it up? Now is probably the time to play it safe, to be honest, so I'm expecting similar drafts from the first couple of matches.
Glorious with the Oliver and the Shan for the first and second pick. JANZELOT with the Qtang, the Shang, and the Juno locked in for his draft. Glorious flashing that Shiho.
I do like the Shiho. Shiho does well with those two fire units on the field. Unfortunately, he can't complement that with a Shizuka as you usually like to. Glorious potentially taking the first turn now. The question is that first turn going to be impactful or not?
Here we go. Shiho and Wunsa locked in. yanzelot brings out that Dark Art Master once again.
Yeah, he brings out the Moot Core. He's hovering over it. It's a good unit in the sense that it has a really high base speed, but I don't think it will be enough to take the first turn away from Glorious because I think the Glorious's Woundset is probably faster. I do like the Cigar pick though. The Cigar does really well to reset any of Glorious's units that he so chooses.
There we go. That Cigar is locked in. Glorious with the Changpeng for that final pick. Here we go. The bans are in. Both dark units get the ban. The leader skill for yanzelot is resistance, and Glorious with the speed lead.
I'm really not sure about that Chongpeng pick, given that JANZELOT has a Masha and a Juno on the field. Feel like that Chongpeng will probably get taken out quite quickly, but he needed a stripper. Maybe he didn't have any other strippers available to him.
Changpeng managing to strip that Qtang Deshang. Here we go. Shan gets the stun on the Qtang Deshang. She goes with some damage into Masha. She also gets stripped out. Oliver with a Mega Impulse gun. Where would the damage be directed?
This is going to be an interesting call. Does he reset the Juno so that she can't strip the Shiho?
He does not. He directs it into the Masha, pushes Masha back a little bit. Masha takes a turn into Oliver. Oliver, Impulse gun. Again, he's going to direct the damage into the Qtang Deshang, pushing back his attack by a little bit. Shihu follows up with an AoE from his skill 2, failing to stun any of the units.
I feel like that Flores made a mistake to reset the Masha rather than the Cigar or the Qtang Deshang, because the Cigar and Qtang Deshang have way more impact with their skills available. He's focusing down the Masha too hard, I feel, but at the end of the day, this match could still go either way.
There we go. That Masha is dismounted. Serious matter from Changpeng, doing some serious work. They're pushing back the attack bar. Changpeng gets an additional turn, skill 1 into Qtang Deshang. Masha with some serious damage into Oliver. Oliver surviving by an inch. Here we go. Shan with only skill 1 available goes into Qtang Deshang, fails to land the dot.
Oh my goodness, the fact that Chongpeng stayed alive for long enough to use Serious Matter to push back those attack bars, increase the cool times, was really important. And the procs are just going both ways now. This is incredibly exciting stuff, Killer.
That was a huge proc by the Shihu. He does the AoE damage, manages to stun any of the units. Juno stunning that Shan. This is anyone's game at the moment. Juno taking another turn. Skill 1 taking out that Oliver. Masha is dismounted, doing some serious damage into that Shihu. Shihu is the last one alive. Here we go. Looks like JANZELOT is taking this match with a 3-2. Wow, what a match, guys.
JANZELOT saving the best for last.